Hello, I'm Kate and welcome to the Hawthorn Cottage Podcast. Today is Tuesday the 6th of February 2018 and this is episode 20. You can find me on Instagram as Kate_Hawthorncottagecraft, on Ravelry as ARunnerBean, and we have a Ravelry group called the Hawthorn Cotagecraft Podcast group, and if you look in the tab for groups within Ravelry you'll find us there. Within the group we have an introductions thread, so please pop over and say hello. I will reply. Sometimes it can be a wee bit delayed, but I will reply. There's KAL threads and there's a lot of chat going on in there at the moment. You'll find the show notes, there's FO threads, there's lots going on in there. So please come over and join us. Welcome if you are new to the cottage. It's lovely to see you. It's always lovely to see new faces. I hope you're very happy here. If you like what you see, please feel free to subscribe and you'll be kept up to date when there are new episodes out. And if you're a returning viewer, it's lovely to see you back. I always enjoy your company and enjoy getting to know you that wee bit better from week to week. Today is a very special day within Hawthorn Cottagecraft. We are 1 year old. We are having a birthday. On the 27th of January, we officially had our birthday, but we're celebrating it today. It has been the most amazing year. I cannot thank you enough for the wonderful experience that you have made this. I was very nervous about recording a podcast. I wasn't sure how it would work. I'd wanted to do one for a long time, but hadn't really worked up the nerve. I still actually find it incredibly nerve-wracking, and I think that's why sometimes there can be a little bit of a time difference between the episodes, that I intend to record slightly more often and then I get quite nervous and put it off. But I do, on the whole, really enjoy this experience. And I have really enjoyed, and this has been for me what has made it, meeting everybody and getting to know so many people through the knitting community, through the podcast, through Instagram, and the trips that I've got to go on within the past year. Everything really has taken off this year. I've got to go to the different festivals, which was a first for me, and it's just been an amazing experience and I have loved every last second of it, and I'm looking forward to the following year too, and we'll see where it takes us. But every birthday has presents, and I have a present for you to say thank you for joining me in this journey. I am putting a thread into the Ravelry group for a birthday giveaway, and I have a really special present that's up for grabs. LB Hand Knits, who is a designer here in Ireland, based in County Donegal, very kindly sent me a package that is a collaboration between herself and S Twist Wool, an Irish yarn dyer. And I'm passing this on to you. The yarn that was sent is in my very favourite colour, which is this beautiful green. S Twist Wool is an Irish craft yarn. It is based in Tipperary in Ireland, and it is this particular skein is iron weight. There is 150 metres for 100 grams. The colour is juniper, and it's mixed mountain fleece, and it just feels so plump and soft. It is a natural yarn, has a natural feel to it, but it is soft and plump. So this skein of yarn was sent to work with a pattern that LB Hand Knits has produced called La Chiche, and now my Irish pronunciation is probably all wrong. I think that's the pronunciation for my area, but La Chiche, and I'll put the name of the pattern at the bottom, basically means lattice, and I'll insert a photograph of the pattern. And the pattern is for a hat, as you can see, and it's done in lattice work, and it's just a beautiful pattern. She also has produced, if you really like the pattern, the lattice work. She's produced a beautiful sweater pattern in the same design, which I have my eye on. But for the prize, we have the yarn and the pattern for the hat. I also want to put in there prize something that has kind of become part of my podcast. One of the things that I enjoy is a good cup of coffee, and I always invite you to join me for a cuppa on the podcast. And when I saw this, I thought, how appropriate. This is the Knitting Circle mug by Anna Wright, and I'll put her website details on the screen. And it's called the Knitting Circle. And that is exactly what we are. We're a knitting circle. So if you want to join me for a cuppa and have this very special mug and yarn and pattern, jump over to the Ravelry thread and basically tell me what you're looking forward to within the next year. It can be knitting related, it doesn't have to be. Just what are you looking forward to within the next year? I am looking forward to more trips. There's a few planned and organised, and I'll tell you about some of them later on. And I'm just enjoying the idea of just developing this knitting journey. My knitting journey has developed a lot within the past year. I feel as though what I want to knit is very different and has progressed. But I'm really enjoying the community that is built up, and for me that has been what it's... I've said that so many times. The community is everything to me, and I have really enjoyed it, and that is what I'm looking forward to within the next year. It's just continuing to build on that and continuing to meet you and chat and share and just sharing this exciting journey that we're on. So please jump over to the Ravelry thread, join the group and leave your comment, and I'll draw for that prize within the next episode. So again, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. So I hope you have your cuppa and we will get into some knitting talk. It has been a busy month of knitting here. I have got a lot done. I'm really pleased with what I've got done this past month. And I have a few finished objects to show you, and they're there. So I'm looking forward to going through these with you and showing you what I've done. And the first one is one that has been on the needles since October. This is my Road to Rhinebeck shawl. It was the mystery knit along, although I didn't do it as the mystery, by Mina Phillip, who is the Knitting Expat Designs. And get the right side of it. And I am in love with this project. It's huge. Really huge. By the last section, the rows were very long, but it was so worth it. I began this in October en route, just as I was leaving for Rhinebeck, and it became my project there. And I did a little of it there. I found that I talked more than I knit, but I did do some knitting there, and I have worked at it off and on since. And I really wanted to get it finished so that I could wear it. There was also the added incentive that it's going on a little holiday next week. So I'll tell you about that in a second. So I wanted to get it done, and I am thrilled with it. It is a double knit, so it makes it an incredibly warm, and it's just a really sumptuous shawl. I knit it in Fine Fish Yarns, her double knit 75-25 merino nylon, and it just worked up beautifully. The colourways really were appropriate for the time of year that I began to knit it, in the autumn, and for where I was going to. So this is Butterball and Acorn. And as I said, it's Fine Fish Yarns, and that is the reason I wanted to get it finished. Fine Fish Yarns is vending at the Unravel Festival next weekend in Farnham in Surrey, and this is going to her booth. So if you're there, you'll see it. I knit this on 4.5mm needles, which is a US 7. And I just love each of the sections. A shawl that's this big can lose interest for me because the rows are long, and although it might look as though I'm a speedy knitter, I'm not really. I don't think anyway. So if I'm knitting long rows, my concentration goes and I get bored, but not so in this. This just, you move from one section to the next and it just kept the interest there. The different textures, it's a highly textured design. I love this one and I do love this one, but this is my favourite section. I just love the way that looks, the crisscross. And it's a beautiful, beautiful shawl. I have taken a photograph of it that was on Instagram, but it just sits so cosy. And on a day like today when we have snow again, it's just cosy and warm. And there are just so many different ways to style it. This is my usual. You've seen me play with styles of shawls before and it's a bit crazy sometimes. But it can be worn like that. It can be worn much flatter, and I've I think a photograph of it with a big shawl pin that I actually got in Canada, which really tones in with it, with the red maple leaf. So this is a fantastic pattern. You should go and look at the Knitting Expat Designs patterns. They're all beautiful. She loves texture. And as an aside, I do notice she has a first garment, adult garment pattern released called the Mix and Match Cardigan, which might have to go in the queue. But her shawls are lovely. They're all very big. As far as I know, they're all quite big. And this one is no exception, but it's beautiful. And I really enjoyed this knit. And I think I would actually knit this again as a gift for someone. Because with the double knit, it does work quite quickly. So that was my Road to Rhinebeck shawl, the first object that I worked on and finished within January, and I love it. But it's all been about the garments really, and I have been on such a garment kick. I have the goal of having 3 garments knit by the middle of March, and I'm well on the way to that. The middle of March, as you know, is Edinburgh Yarn Festival from the 15th to the 17th of March, and I've wanted to knit some garments for that, and as it turned out, just the way it was working, I knew I'd have more than one. So everything else that I'm going to show you is basically for Edinburgh. And the first is my very special sweater, my Fern and Feather, and this is it. I can't wait to wear this. Probably quite stupidly, I will keep it until Edinburgh, and at that point it'll be almost too warm to wear it, but I just feel that I want to keep it for then. But I am thrilled with this. This is the Fern and Feather by Jennifer Steingass. I'm sure you're all familiar with her patterns. They are incredibly popular at the moment. There's the Fern and Feather, Arboreal, there's just loads, and she loves this yoked top for a sweater. But there's a group of us knitting this for Edinburgh, doing our own little mini knit along, and I've seen actually a few other people are knitting it. So when we get there, there'll be an array of these, and I'm looking forward to maybe getting a photograph with lots of other Fern and Feathers. But as I said, it's a Jennifer Steingass pattern. It was knit in Green Mountain Spinnery that I picked up in Rhinebeck, and it's a worsted weight sweater, which makes it work up incredibly quickly. And the colours were grey, which is 8790, and the reddish colour is chestnut, and it is colour 8575. And I knit this on 3.75 millimeter, which is a US 5, and a 4 millimeter, which is a US 6 needle. It was a top-down sweater and knitting the round. And as a first, I think it's a great first colour work sweater. I don't think it's a particularly difficult pattern. And if you're knitting top down, you get all the hard work done first. And then it's a really, really speedy knit once you get past the colour work. I just found it a really enjoyable pattern to knit. It's very clearly written, which makes it quite easy. So that's the first of the sweaters that is for Edinburgh. There's nothing very much more to say about it. I have talked about it on other episodes, but I love it. I love the look of my floats. I was concerned at the start, and I think a lot of people are concerned when they started that it looks quite tight at the top. But as long as your floats are loose enough and once it blocks out perfectly. It was the first time that I did proper two-handed colour work. Now, I may still not be doing it correctly to the professional colour work knitters, but I think it worked. And I'm really, really happy with the result. And it actually made, once I got into the rhythm of the two-handed colour work, it was so much faster rather than my old laborious way of dropping the yarn to pick up this other colour and dropping it and picking up it. That's just laborious. But the two-handed colour work was certainly much, much quicker. And I'm delighted. So I've only about 30 something days before I can wear it. I will probably boil it alive within the venue if it's last year's anything to go by. But I'll put up with it, and as I said, I can't wait to see everyone else's. So if you've got your Fern and Feather on, come and see me, and we'll have to get a gallery of photographs for this sweater. That was the first sweater, the second finished object. And my third one is one that you haven't actually seen. I talked about it on the last episode that I was thinking about it, but I hadn't actually started it. I hadn't the yarn. But it has since arrived, and the sweater has been put on the needles, and the sweater has been finished. This was the speediest knit I think I've ever done. This is the Carbeth sweater by Kate Davies, one of her most recent designs. And it's a cropped sweater, which makes it speedy. And I knit this in Blacker Yarns. Blacker Yarns sponsor the podcast lounge in Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and they run a knit along every year, and I'll put the hashtag for the knit along. And this knit along is for anyone. It's not just for those who are going to the festival, it's for everyone, and you just add your finished object to the thread that is within their group in Ravelry. So if you haven't joined the Blacker podcast, as long as you are knitting with Blacker Yarns, you can join, whether you're coming to the festival or not. But I decided I would knit this for the KAL because I knew it would be quick, and I have another project on the needles which is Blacker, but I had started it just before the knit along started. So this was for the knit along, and it's in their brushwork yarn, which is their special 12th birthday yarn that they had released. Now, I find this colour particularly difficult to photograph. It comes out grey when I'm taking photographs. Now, that is about the best representation of the colour that I've got. The colour is Scumble, I think. I've just had a brain freeze. I think it's Scumble. I'll put it down at the bottom if I'm wrong. I'll correct it. But it's a beautiful pale green, and I love green. It was a bit of a no-brainer anyway, but it's also St. Patrick's weekend when we're in Edinburgh, and I have to wear a little bit of green. 17th of March is the Saturday. So this will be worn on Saturday, I think. The pattern called for bulky weight yarn or sport weight held double, because Kate Davies originally knit this in her own buchel range, which is the sport weight, so she held it double. And brushwork is sport weight, so I held it double. And it just has created a really cozy, squishy sweater. I was also concerned about the fact that it's cropped. I'm quite small. I don't think I have the figure for cropped, but I think it has worked well. I knit it slightly longer than the pattern, just an inch or two longer than the pattern, because I felt that the original crop was just too short for me. I'm a lady of a certain age, and it just cropped, I didn't think worked. But I like the length of this. It works very well with the top and underneath, or high-waisted jeans, or as she markets it, with the skirt. And I'm thrilled with this. The yarn was gorgeous to work with. The brushwork sport weight is, I have it written down, Scottish Beaumont, which is a fine merino style fibre. There's 10% Castle Milk Murret, which is an at-risk breed within the UK. There's only around 10,000. That's wrong. There's only around 1,000 of these sheep left, so it's at risk. So there's 10% of that within the yarn, and to give it drape, there's 20% British alpaca, and it just is so soft and squishy. It really is beautiful. So the sweater was knit bottom up, and then you knit the sleeves and joined in the round, which is the way a lot of Kate Davies sweaters are knit. Now, I did knit the sleeves first because I have, as you know, and you'll hear later, sleeves can be the bane of my life when I go to knit, and I wanted them done. So because of the nature of this, I was able to knit those first, and that was the only modification, well, apart from the length of the body, the main modification I made was the cuff. The cuff should be double that and folded, but for me that just felt too bulky around my wrists, so I just did the shorter cuff, and it's just rib. But the rest of the sweater knit up so quickly, and I love this feature here, the shape of the front. The back and front are exactly the same. This to me just gives the sweater shape and a really distinctive look, yet it's one of the simplest things I've ever knit. And this is such a good, I think a lot of the sweaters I knit are beginner friendly. This certainly is beginner friendly for a sweater. Her patterns are well written, they're easy to follow if you're new to knitting. She does require you to have knit a gauge swatch so that you can, because she doesn't give you an exact needle size. She'll tell you the needles she used, but she works with the fact that you knit a gauge swatch to get your gauge. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but you're kind of expected to. It was a brilliant knit. I did notice that Mason Dixon Knitting is also doing a knit along for this called it's hashtag bang out a Carbeth. So if you want to join it as well, there's lots of knit alongs. This is a fantastic sweater to knit. You will knit it in no time. I love it, and I'm looking forward to wearing it in Edinburgh. Both those sweaters are part of my Edinburgh knitting, but they are also part of the garments Galore KAL that I'm running in conjunction with Selma from Little Big Knits podcast. This has been running since October, and it runs until the end of March, the 31st of March. And there's still time to join in if you haven't already started a sweater. You can. And a lot of people have said that they're nervous because they haven't knit sweaters. Knit a Carbeth. It's really, really quick. If you knit it in the bulky, you'll zoom up it in no time. There's definitely time to knit at least one of those. There are chatter threads in both groups for the knit along, and feel free to double dip within both groups. you're in with more chance of winning a prize. And when you've put in all that work, certainly I think it's worth it. We both have an FO thread, which you can put your finished object into. You can put it into both. But we both have a unique thread as well. Within Selma's, if you've knit your first garment, put it in there. She has a thread for that. And if you have knit a garment of 1400 meters, put it into mine. There's a Mount Everest thread for a garment that's over 1400 meters. And what has been wonderful is seeing all the array of sweaters that have been knit at their busy threads. It's lovely that everybody has become so enthusiastic about it, and I love seeing all the projects. Jump over, join those threads and see what other people are knitting, and don't forget to put in your own. It would be worth joining because I can show you some of the prizes that we've got. If you are a maker, I'm just going to reach for them and hopefully not drop them. If you're a maker, a dyer, bag maker, and want to contribute to this, please feel free to contact me. I'd love to add you to the prize pile, your work, and showcase it. Everybody's making such an effort and it's so lovely to see. So these are some of the prizes that I have so far. Bear and Sheep's Clothing, a yarn dyer from Belfast here, Bernie and Derek. They created this for Nottingham Yarn Expo, and it's their colourway for that. And this is sock yarn, BFL, and nylon, all British wool. So they have donated this skein of yarn. Ellie from Craft House Magic, I had placed an order for a skein of yarn a couple of weeks ago. At the time of the podcast birthday, it was my birthday, and well, you just have to. So I'd ordered a skein of yarn, and she also popped this in for you. So this is going into the Garment KAL prize basket array. I don't know what word I would put there. Anyway, Love is a Battlefield, and it's 75/25 superwash merino and nylon, and it's gorgeous colour. It actually goes very well with the skein that I got, and it was very tempting to keep it, but I'm not. It's going into the prize fund. So that's from Ellie from Craft House Magic. I have this little bundle. It is from another Irish dyer called the Fibre Kitchen, and this is double knitting, and there's just over 700 meters here, so you could team it up with another colour if you wanted to do an adult garment or shawl. And it's called Candy Cloud, and it's superwash merino 80% and 20% bamboo, and it is very, very soft. Unfortunately, I have glare of windows on either side of me, but I went round this house today trying to find a spot where I could podcast, because one room was too dark and then the next room was just too much light. So that's within the prize pile as well, and it's beautiful shades of blue and grey and creams. So we have that, and we have this beautiful bag from Emerald Fibres. And Kira very kindly designed this bag for the sweater KAL. This is my Fern and Feather. And Kira's bags are fabulous. If you don't know Kira's work, you really should go and look at her Etsy shop. She is vending this year at Woolen in Dublin at the end of May, so check her out there too if you're coming. But these bags are fabulous. They're the field style bag. This is beautiful purple velvet, and she has embroidered this, and then within their pockets there's a catch that you could put your keys on, your stitch markers, and it's just a really roomy bag. And I have my own, and it's got a sweater in there, so they are really, really roomy. So that is what's in the prize bundles so far, and those will be, prizes will be drawn for each of those at the end of the KAL on the 31st of March. As I said, if you're a maker and would like to contribute to that, please feel free. But more importantly, keep knitting those garments and join in the KAL. As I said, it's been all about the sweater knitting, and I have my finished objects, but I also have a sweater in progress. And as I had pointed out, it's living in my Emerald Fibres bag. I'm working on my Scala cardigan. You're going, still? Yes, I know, I cast it on forever ago, frogged it and restarted. But I'm working through it now, and this is going to get finished. This is my priority. The Scala cardigan, again, you've seen it so many times. It's this beautiful cardigan by Carrie Westerman. And I really have made progress. You'll be surprised to hear. I had cast this on in Blacker yarns, but because it had been cast on before the knit along, I didn't include it in the knit along. It's their West Country Tweed double knit, and it's their natural colour grey. And this is a Shetland Teeswater and Black Welsh Mountain mix. And as I said in the last episode, I love this yarn. I wasn't sure about it when I started knitting it. It is a rustic yarn. I thought it was quite hard, but it is knitting up so softly. That's the colour. Again, I'm trying to move out of the light. And we have made progress. I have the body up until the armhole finished. It's knit in one piece. The back. And I just love the drape of this. This is going to just hang really nicely. I really love the little bit of detail at the bottom. And this is on the cuffs as well, and then it'll be repeated on the yoke. A large section of it in the yoke. And it's knit in reverse stocking stitch. It's on a 3.75mm needle, which is a US 5, and a 4mm, which is a US 6. And I'm actually knitting this on my Chaigus. They're working really, really well with this. So I've this one on a cable now just to hold it while I knit the sleeves. And this is where reverse stocking stitch has maybe caused me a little bit of a problem. Not in the actual knitting of what is stocking stitch. Knitting it flat was great because it is just normal stocking stitch. You're just looking at this is the right side rather than the wrong side. That was great until I started the sleeves. And I was, move the coffee back. I was zooming up the sleeves and was this far up. Got this far up. And as you can see, there's no needle in it any longer. Because it must be the tension when I am working in the magic loop and the turn doesn't normally have an issue, but whether it's because I'm purling it rather than knitting it, I ended up with a ladder, which I think you should be able to see. I held it up to my husband, who was sitting at the far side of the room, and he wouldn't normally notice things, but I asked him could he see something, and he very quickly pointed out this ladder. There's just a loose stitch where I've turned on the magic loop, and the only thing I can put it down to is the tension of the purl stitch. And I don't normally have that issue when I'm knitting magic loop on stocks, or when I've knit magic loop on sleeves before. And I wasn't sure what to do. I thought, is it so noticeable that it really will be noticeable on the cardigan when it's finished and on? And being me, even if somebody said it wasn't, I would know it's there and it would annoy me. So I'd put it up on Instagram, and people have come up with different ideas to maybe tighten the stitch with a crochet hook. Somebody mentioned that this kind of thing's talked about in Elizabeth Zimmerman's Knitting Without Tears, and I have that book in order so I can have a look. But probably by the time that comes, I'll have it remedied in another way. What I decided to do, and I wasn't sure if it would work, but everybody assures me it is just to knit the sleeve inside out. So to me, what looks the right way. So I started the second sleeve, or what might now technically be the first sleeve. I have an ongoing saga with sleeves. Usually it's when I'm adding them in here at the short rows, but this time it's here, just my sleeve saga. So I have started up the sleeve again. I am so much quicker knitting it this way, and when I pull it right way out, although there's a crease there which will come out with blocking, I don't think that's a crease rather than ladder, and I think blocking will eliminate that when I stretch it out. I hope. It's certainly better than the previous sleeve. That should be okay when you see it stretched. I think. You can comment below if you don't think so, or give me ideas on how to fix this. I think that's okay. And probably what I will do is I'll just rip this one out. This is the joy of working with a more natural yarn. The stitches actually haven't come away here, even though it's been off the needles. I'll probably just rip this out and knit it again this way, and then turn it inside out when I go to join them. But it's very, very quick this way. I'm zooming up this. I'm almost finished this one, and get the other one going, and then get them joined to the cardigan. I'm really looking forward to getting this cardigan finished and worn. It is going to be such a versatile cardigan. The colour of the grey with just those little pops of tweed colours, it's going to go with everything. I am planning to make one modification. It has buttons and button band, and I have the buttons already bought. I'm planning possibly to not put the buttonholes in. I really liked the way I did my Braid Hills cardigan, the Kate Davies cardigan, a few months ago, where she doesn't put buttonholes in. She puts on poppers and lines the back of the button band with bias, and then just puts the decorative buttons on really for show. And I think I might do that with this one as well. I just don't like knitting buttonholes, and I just really like the look of the other one. So I think I'll do that with this. Hopefully by the next time this will be a finished object as well. It is now, as I say, moving, and hopefully the sleeve issue will be sorted, and the blocking will help. So that was one of the works in progress. It's a lot about bags today too. The bag that I showed you was a birthday gift. And another birthday gift that I got, that was a birthday gift from Kira. The other birthday gift I got was this beautiful bag. And I got this from my family, along with some beautiful yarn by Maker's Haven. But this is a bag by Busy Bird Bag. She's on Instagram. And it's one of her maker's bags. And it's just really pretty. Fabric on the inside. Oops. Put the pattern in. So I'm really enjoying working with this bag, and it is so roomy. And inside it is another project, and shockingly it's not a garment, but it is too meant to be for Edinburgh. Hopefully it might be a work in progress in Edinburgh. When I was in the States in October and went to Indie Untangled, I had seen the yarn for this pattern. They work together, but I hadn't picked it up because I couldn't get near it. I was so busy at Indie Untangled, and I ordered it when I came back. And I thought I would start this for a couple of reasons. I really wanted to use the yarn. The buzz was there for the yarn, and I thought I would get it going. And it's for the surprise party shawl. By Helen Stewart, who's Curious Handmade. I'm sure you all know Helen Stewart's patterns really well. And she designed this shawl for the grocery girls, for Jodie and Tracy. And if you're coming to Edinburgh, Helen herself will be there, and Tracy from the grocery girls is coming to Edinburgh. So I thought, well, I should maybe knit their shawl, seeing they're coming. And I had ordered the yarn when I came back, and the yarn is beautiful. This is there are two colorways that were created for this, and the yarn is from Hugh Loco. So there was this colorway, and it is called Shut the Front Door, and I think it was for Jodie. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think it might have been for individual ones. And this one is the I Can't Even for Tracy. I think that's possibly the way around it was. But it's two of their stock phrases anyway. And I'm doing the I Can't Even. And this is the I Can't Even colorway, which is a beautiful speckle. And it's superwash merino nylon. And then the other colours, when I get them out of the bag. This one is linen, which is a pinky creamy colour. There is Valentine, which is pink. Olive, which is a light green. Ash, which is grey. And Pine, which is a dark green. And I have started the shawl. It could take a while. It's all tangled. I'm knitting this on my Haya sharps. And the colours are beautiful. It's knitting up really beautifully. It's a bit scrumpled on the needle. And I have my little stitch marker which came in my Busy Birds bag, just to make it pretty. I'm knitting this on a 4mm US 6 needle, Haya sharps. The Hayas are great when you've yarn overs and knit two togethers. Certainly the easiest for that job. And I love, it's just a beautiful pattern. It's easy to follow, and the thing I like about Helen's patterns, and which a lot of people have commented on, is that she has a percentage system. Each row is set out. You know which row you're on, you mark off which row you're on, and every so often she'll tell you what percent you are. And it just gives you that little bit of incentive to keep going. I also like the fact that for each row you know exactly what stitch count you're meant to be on, because some patterns, particularly when you're working lace and in a shawl, if they don't do that, you're not quite sure if you're right. You know you've gone wrong somewhere, but that it just makes it very clear and easy to follow. So I'm working on this. Hopefully, as I said, it will be finished. I'm hoping to wear it at the Ceilidh at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, but we'll see. It might not be finished, and it might. So those are the works in progress. Sweaters and shawls. I haven't really worked on my socks. You know, I've got socks on the needles, and they haven't really got worked on at all. I had planned, we went down to my parents last weekend again, and I'd planned to knit on the way down, but I didn't. It turned out my daughter passed her driving test within the past month, and she was driving, and that's no reflection on her driving that I couldn't knit, but we were driving quite late and it was dark, and I can't knit in the dark in the car. So the socks, long story short, have had no progress. I did cast on another pair of socks, and I'll show you those the next time. I had got these, which are the Addy Here they're called Addy Crazy Trio. I think in the States, are they called flip sticks? Not sure. But they're like double pointed needles with the band in the middle. The cable, wee short bit of cable in the middle. I love double pointed needles to knit socks with. I like magic loop. I'm not sure about these yet. I haven't knit enough with them to have really made much of a judgment, and I'll talk about them the next time. I'm going to try and get a wee bit more knit till I see. The jury is definitely out, but I'll tell you about that the next time. So socks will make progress before the next episode. Hopefully I'll have 2 finished. Well, I might not have them before the next episode, but I'll be well on with those works in progress, and we'll see how that goes. I want to tell you about a couple of upcoming events. I've talked about it already through this episode. The main one is Edinburgh Yarn Festival, to which I am going. It's the 15th to the 17th of March. I will be going over on the 14th and returning on the 18th, the Wednesday to the Sunday. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing you all there. I am very, very privileged and honoured to have been chosen this year to be a part of the Podcaster Lounge that Louise Scala has organised, and that is sponsored by Blacker Yarns. I was just thrilled. It really made my year very, very special. There is a Meet the Podcaster, that's what they're calling the event, Meet the Podcaster event on each of the 3 days of the festival, the 15th, the 16th and the 17th, in the Podcaster Lounge, between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And the podcasters will be coming and going there some of the days. I intend to be there each of the days. I'm at the festival anyway, and I'm intent to hang out at the Podcaster Lounge most of the time. Please feel free to come and say hello. I can't wait to see you and to chat to you. Everybody else, there's an amazing lineup in the lounge of audio and video podcasters, a lot of whom I've met, and I can guarantee you're going to love meeting. Some of them are, there's a couple of new podcasters that I hadn't actually seen before, and I've gone and checked them out. You can see the lineup on the Edinburgh Yarn Festival website, which I'll put across the bottom. Go and check them out. They're fabulous. They are absolutely brilliant, and I'm looking forward to meeting them. There's a few podcasters coming that I've watched for a long, long time that I'm extremely excited to meet. It's going to be really good fun getting to chat and meet and to see everybody. So please come and say hello. Come and spend some time knitting with me. Bring your knitting along. Bring a coffee or a tea along with you, and we can catch up. Please, it sounds really daft, tell me who you are, because I know a lot of Instagram handles, but not everybody puts up their photograph, and connecting a handle with a face, and even the fact that a lot of handles don't have the person's name in them. Please tell me who you are. If you see me within the actual marketplace, because I do intend to browse, I promise I'm not doing a lot of shopping. But if you see me in the marketplace, come and say hello. Please come up and speak to me. Tell me who you are again. I should have some pins. I'm intending to bring some podcast pins. Remind me. I will have a certain amount of them, and they'll go as far as they go. But please at least tell me or ask me for one, and I'll give you one if I've still got some left. But it's going to be a fabulous time. I'm looking forward to all of the festival. There's a lot going on. I wanted to say something in regards to tickets. I know the tickets have been the pre-order tickets had been put on release. Those tickets have all gone. It's unfortunate, and I'm sorry if people didn't get one of those. But do not lose hope. There are tickets available on the Friday and Saturday at the door, and you will still get into the festival. And I just wanted to let people know that, so that they didn't feel that they were excluded because they hadn't got pre-order tickets. There are tickets on the Friday and Saturday at the door. You will have to queue for them those mornings, but the queue I mean, I was in the queue last year to get in. I had my ticket, but there was the queue. Both queues were there. The queues are quite long, but do you know something? It's all part of the experience. I had a ball in the queue. I really, really enjoyed the queue. Weird as that may be, there's always somebody to chat to, and it becomes a sweater spotting experience. It's almost like one of those competitions that you do with your kids. See if you can find so many whatever sweater. So you can sweater spot, and in the loosest term possible, you can celebrity spot. We enjoyed that last year. Go, oh, such and such a designer. Oh, such and such a designer. That was really good fun. And just chat. So please do not be put off coming to the Edinburgh Yarn Festival because you haven't got a pre-order ticket. There are tickets still there for the Friday and Saturday. Tickets for the knit night, there are knit nights that are going to be organised. Those will be put on release, I think, in the next week or so. My best advice is to sign up to the newsletter if you haven't already done so on the Edinburgh Yarn Festival website, and you'll get an email through when things are about to be released and they give you the times and dates to get those things. Joe and Micah have put an awful lot of effort into this, an awful lot of work, and I think they should be praised for what they have done. It's a big, huge undertaking, and they do it extremely well. But I can't wait, and I can't wait to see you there, and we're going to have an absolute ball. It's a highlight of the year. Another event that I'm going to is my usual. I really didn't think I was going this year, and I was gutted. Just with so much else going on, I thought something was going to have to give, and unfortunately at one point I thought it was going to be this, but just it has worked out that this is still in place. I'm going to Atlantic Knitscape from the 11th to the 13th of May. I think there are still places available. There are places available, I think, for the second weekend, which is the following weekend, which would be is it the 18th to the 20th? It's the two dates. It's the 11th and the following weekend, and all the details are on the Facebook page for Atlantic Knitscape, and again I'll put that at the bottom. It's a retreat weekend in County Mayo in the very west of Ireland. It's stunning landscape. You're right on the Atlantic coast. You have the mountains behind you and the Atlantic Ocean and the islands in front of you, and it's just the most tranquil, beautiful setting. It's a weekend of knitting, chatting, and there's a small marketplace there. Indie dyers and bag makers provide for that. And it's just a very relaxed weekend. There's nothing else to do but knit, chat, and go for walks and eat really good food. So if you're interested in going, please feel free to go over to the Facebook group and see there about booking. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to see a really good group there this year again. It's really, really good fun, and it is probably the one weekend I would be very reluctant to give up. So that's that, and I want to give you, I'm sure you've heard about it, but give you notice of another festival that's coming up at the end of May. It's the last weekend in May, and it's in Dublin. It's called Woolen, and they have a website which I'll link to. Woolen is going to be fabulous. It's Ireland's first big indie dye extravaganza. It's probably on a par with Edinburgh in style, I think, and it's going to be amazing. There's a fantastic list of vendors and teachers coming over. I am going down on the Saturday. I'm going for the day, and although this talk's taking place in Edinburgh as well, I have saved my attendance for Dublin. I'm going to the Kate Davies Handy Woman talk on the Saturday, and I think there might be still places for some of the classes. I'm not sure. Check out the website, go and see it. It's going to be really, really good, and it's lovely to be part of the very first year of this and to see what's going on. So as I said, go over to the website and see who's going to be there. So it's been a busy month. It's a busy few months ahead. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. And hopefully, fingers crossed, within the next couple of weeks, I'll see you again here. Enjoy your knitting.